Okay guys, you're welcome back to this session. Okay, in the previous session we saw how to actually determine our overtime and also know the overtime that will not be taxed at 5% and then 10%. Now let's see how to link the overtime figures in our payroll. Now you can see we have other allowances for extra hours worked. Okay, so the officers whose basic salary was more than 1,500, their overtime will be added at this side, so that we'll use the individual tax rate to determine their tax and not charge 5% or 10% tax. Okay, so let's start. What we are going to say is, now Excel, if the basic salary here, okay, is greater than 1,500, comma, then you are telling Excel to do a VIN lookup. So VIN lookup, okay, this person's ID, then we go to the overtime that we did. Okay, so we pick from the first person on the list up to the end. Press Ctrl and Shift, use the down arrow, keep pressing till it takes you to the end of the table. Because this table is not defined, we need to press F4 to make it constant. We bring comma, and now you ask yourself, if the basic salary of the person involved is greater than 1,500, what should be the outcome? We want Excel to give us the overtime pay, the whole overtime pay, which is this figure. So we select the whole figure, we close bracket. If this is not the case, what we do is comma, Excel should give us 0 as the answer. So we close the bracket and we hit enter. So you can see, because this salary is within 1,500, it did not pick that figure. But if we change this serial number, okay, to that of the person who had more than 1,500, you see that there will be an overtime here. So let's try that. Who had more than that? Let's look at the overtime again. That is 18,009.1. That's Bernard. Okay, 18,009.1. Now should I type 18,009.1 here? For example, here 18,009.1. now it gives us ref. Now if it gives you this ref, it means that the formula that you are using, there's a problem with it. So you quickly have to check, because all things being equal, it has to bring this particular figure here. Okay, now let's take note, this is in column 9. So let's go back and check why it is giving us wrong answer. Let's double click. Now you can see that I did not bring my 9. Okay, so because of that, it is giving us this erroneous answer. So what do? We need to change this and then type 9 here. If it doesn't work, we'll start all over again. Okay, so this is the table, this OT, okay, up to this end is actually the table, and then the 9 is the column that has that particular detail. Okay, and if that is not the case, Excel will give us 0. Okay, so you see it brings us the 185.71, and truly when you go to your overtime to check, you can see that Bernard is having 185.71. okay, so let's go back and pick our first person, so that when we drag, it will give us everybody. The employees, the first person was Agnes. So let's maintain Agnes. Okay, so you see that Agnes gives us 0. Okay, simply because this is not greater than 1005. Okay, so now we've done this, in order not to forget, let's go to this side. There is an overtime here, and just do that. We can either jump and come and do this overtime and then continue from there. So we come here, we do a VIN lookup, and then we look for our serial number here. We look for our serial number here, and then we go to the overtime list. This time around, we are interested in the net overtime, so pick from the first person, hold down your shift and control, keep pressing the down arrow till it takes you to the end. Now, because we've not defined the table, press F4 and then bring your comma. We know the net overtime is actually found in column 11, so you type your 11 and you close your bracket. Now it gives us nothing because there was no net overtime for this person. Okay, so we've done our overtime. Bonus will be in December, so we can hide it. Hide for now. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is, let's come back here. We've done this, which is coming from the overtime. We've done the other one that's also coming from overtime. The next thing that we're about to do is gross salary before attendance. So equals, then we add everything that is here. We are going to add 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we can just use the sum function, and then we select from the salary the taxable allowances up to this point and enter. Now this is a situation where the person came to work for 21 days. That is where the person will enjoy all this money in full. Now if the person came to work for, let's say, 20 days, it has to affect the total amount that we are going to pay the person. So that's how come we have gross salary after attendance. So how do we do that? We will take equals the actual days work, okay, over the total days that the person should have worked, which is this one, times this gross salary before attendance, and then we enter. Now it is the same. Because here the days that the person should have worked and the actual days are the same. Now let's go to attendance and do an alteration to Agnes attendance, okay, and see the impact that it will have on this. So we go to attendance. Agnes was the first person. Let's alter one of the days. Let's make this one's 0. I'll change it back. I just want you to see the impact. So you see we've taken 2 days off. Should you scroll to the latter, you can see Agnes is now 19. Now go to your payroll and you can see that it has changed from 21 to this. Now look at the figure. You can see that this is 1274.30. It is no longer the same as this. Okay, all right, so that's the essence. So that if someone didn't come to work for the full days, you will not get it, all the benefits. You only get this benefit if you came to work 21 out of 21. So now we need to put a general formula. That's why we are taking that fraction. Okay, let's put our attendance for Agnes in order and then continue. So Agnes, we mark Agnes some days off. So these 2 days we are marking it back to to normal as it was. Okay, so we've done that. Let's see the impact. See that it takes you to the same, it changes. Okay, so it makes the whole payroll very automated. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is Agnes entitled to a relief. We want to build a system that the Excel will automatically pick if someone is entitled to a relief and give us a relief amount straight away. So let's go to our sheet that is relief. We have included everybody's name, and then we'll check the case study, those who were entitled to relief, and then we'll put their respective relief here for them. So let's go to the case and look for the relief. Okay, so now these were the relief. Okay, so we have Seth, we have Sabutu, Randy, and Tay. So these are the people enjoying relief. So let's go to our payroll and continue and build it for those who had reliefs. Okay, so we go back to this side and look for those people and input. So anybody that will bring a relief certificate, you include the relief amount over there. So the first person I see on my list is Seth. So let's look for Seth. Okay, now Seth Osei Ajima is entitled to 250 relief. So we enter. The next person I see is Sabutu. Sabutu is also entitled to a relief of 280. Then Randy Yeboah is also entitled to a relief of 50. And then Tay is also entitled to a relief of 333. Okay, then last but one, Abraham. Abraham is entitled to 280. Sorry, 285. And then Jojo is entitled to 200. Okay, so thank you for your time. Let's move on to our payroll and see how to link it. Now we are putting a formula here so that it will link it up for us, as simple as that. VLOOKUP, and then we pick this, we bring comma, we go to our relief. Okay, and we pick from the first person on the list up to the end the same way. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So take notes. We'll find the output in column 3. Okay, because we did not define, let's press F4 to make it constant. Then we will find it in column 3. So 3 and close your bracket. It gives you nothing, yes, because this person is not entitled to any relief. Okay, now the next thing is our SSNIT. And that is simple, straightforward. It is 5% of the person's basic salary. Here you have to understand that whether the person came to work or not, you have to pay his SSNIT. Whether you pay the person's salary or you didn't pay, you have to pay his SSNIT. Okay, what some companies do is, if you are absent, they don't pay the SSNIT for those days, but as per the law, you are supposed to pay. You know, when you are employed and you didn't start from the beginning of the payroll period, you will not be paid full salary, but because you are a SSNIT contributor, they have to pay the full amount. Okay, so kindly take note of that. All right, so in this case, we are going to look at 5.5% of the basic salary. So we just take 5.5% times, then you pick the person's basic salary, which is this one. Okay, so as simple as that. Okay, now for those companies who take into account their attendance, we would have multiplied this figure by a fraction of this over this. Okay, that's if you're going to take into account, but that's not the right way. Okay, so we will not do that. We just go straight here. 13%, that's the employer's own, times the basic salary. Okay, so we are making progress. Next thing we do is we take employer's cost, which we said is going to be this SSNIT that the employer is contributing on your behalf plus the gross salary after attendance. So this figure plus this figure, this will be the total cost to the employer. This is not part. This one is the employee who is going to pay, but the employer is going to pay this and this to Agnes. Now let's move on to taxable income, or what we call chargeable income. It is going to be your gross salary after attendance, this figure, okay, minus relief, if any, minus SSNIT, and then we enter. So this will be our taxable income or chargeable income. The next thing that we need to do is we need to calculate our income tax or PAYE. However, to get our PAYE, we use the individual tax rate here. So the amount which is chargeable or taxable, the first 319, the rate that we are going to charge is nil. The next 100, the rate is 5. The next 120 is 10. The next 300 is 17%, 17.5. Then the next 16,461 is 25. And then excess of 20,000 is 30. That's if you add all these thresholds, it will give you 20,000. So anything excess of that on a monthly basis, you pay a tax of 30%. Now we need to put a formula to inculcate all these rates, so that by default it will calculate our tax for us. So the next session will be purely about how to calculate this. So thank you once again for your time. We will meet shortly to compute our PAYE. All right.